Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from High Branch Brewing Company out of Concord, North Carolina. I do apologize if I look a little disheveled. I just got done cutting the grass, but I wanted something really light and refreshing to drink after doing that. But I figured I'd do a video since I hadn't reviewed this before or had it before. So I will say this is the first 12-ounce can that I've had from them. They just started doing 12 ounces. They're still doing pounders too, but I hope that they keep doing 12 ounces because I'm always a bigger proponent of those versus the 16. This beer is called M.Shirley, so that stands for, I don't want to say the person's name because some people don't like their name on these things, but there's a person in the Charlotte beer community. He's a really good guy. But he's a big lager lover, and that's why TJ at High Branch, I think, named these lagers after him. I'm guessing this is going to be a series of lagers fermented with Norwegian Kviek yeast, which is able to eat up sugars faster than pretty much every yeast besides maybe Brett that I know of. And there's different versions of it. This one is you can see right there, it says dry hopped. They've only came out with two so far. There's this one and there's one with lime and salt. It's kind of, like a Mexican lager. But this is 4.8%, and I don't remember if they said what hops are in this, but it's not on the can anywhere, so I'm just going blind. Not had this or the other one yet, so I'm definitely interested in trying it. So you could see it's I wouldn't say it's like 100% traditional for a lager because it is very, very slightly cloudy, or at least for a filtered lager, versus like a Keller Pils or something like that. But it is pretty light, darker straw with a nice fluffy white head. So I will say it does smell like fairly hoppy, but not American or citrusy or juicy hops. It smells just like an overly noble hopped Pilsner, which I am not complaining about. Earthy. There is a little bit of orange, but it's mostly like the earthy and spicy German hops. There is some crackery malt in there as well, but it smells nice. So this kind of suffers from the same thing that I tend to get from a lot of their lagers. And I will say, like, I always want to try new stuff from them because I think TJ's a very good brewer. But I would say lagers are probably their weakest point, and that's not to say that they're bad, but as far as everything that they do, lagers are probably their weakest point. So those are the ones I actually kind of get interested in trying the most because I want to see, how they're advancing. So this kind of, to me, the problem is it has this, like, and I don't know what it is, but this, like, sting in the back of the tongue when you swallow it that reminds me of, like a cheap pale lager that you get, like when you swallow Budweiser, and you shouldn't have that in something like this. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's definitely better tasting than that, but there's just something on the back end that keeps it from being like super crisp and clean. In this instance, it might actually be from the Kviek yeast because I think that's traditionally used for ales, if I'm not mistaken. So I have had a couple lagers made with Kviek yeast, and they're usually not quite as crisp, so that could be part of it. But you definitely get a lot of that spicy German hop flavor and bitterness, a little bit of that crackery background, and then almost like a little bit of a corn flavor as well. So I will say, anytime I see like a dry hop lager, I never know what to think about it, because sometimes you get something like this that's just kind of an overly hopped pilsner, but it's still traditional hop flavors. And sometimes you get, an IPL, which basically tastes like a crisper, cleaner IPA, but it's either dank or fruity or citrusy or whatever than an IPA would. It's just the malt character and the body's a little bit different. So this is definitely the former as far as that goes. The other thing too, it drinks bigger than 4.8. Like, it almost tastes like I don't know, one of those things that's labeled as an imperial pilsner that's like 6.5 or 7%. So that's not to say that it's not tasty. I like drinking it, but there's a lot of very good lagers available locally between Resident Culture and Fauna Flora and Wooden Robot. And I would say this isn't quite up there with those. So on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm just going to give this a drink. I don't think I would buy it again because there's really nothing that stands out about it. And Casita Cerveza, that's another one. I know they're not local, but they're in North Carolina and they distribute here. Same with Brewery Bavana. So I would most likely, if I wasn't just trying to try new stuff and I wanted just a good lager, and Burial, there's another one. There's several other ones that I would reach before this. So I'm just going to give it a drink, but it's still a quality beer, and if you can get it locally, I would definitely recommend trying it out. You won't be disappointed. And a lot of it comes down to personal preference, anyways. But there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I just like better offerings around the city, so that's why I'm just going to give it a drink. But that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.